Hey, you're welcome. How was your week? Mine was equally busy, and I knew that most of us were busy running up and down. We are now getting settled into the new year 2024. Obviously, we have finished the first 3 months, and there is a month, as far as I'm concerned, the deciding month. Why is it the deciding? There is a month that the first quarter will end. Pray that this first quarter will end in good, in blessing, and in good health for all of us in Jesus' name. Be that as it may, I'm Wale Ogunade, the host on this program, Voters Forum. I'm not alone. The other day I was in court. You know, we lawyers, whenever we go to court, we have two people, two sides. On the other side was the senior advocate of Nigeria, and that senior advocate of Nigeria, they always have somebody with them. And we call it announcing our appearance. So you stand up, say, "My Lord, with me, I'm so, senior SAN, with me, this and this and this and this and that." He had about 5 people that were with him. I was the only one. When it was my turn, I just said, "My Lord, Wale Ogunade for the defendant, and with me, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit." And indeed, God was with me. I won that case. That's by the way. With me, I'm not alone today.
Yes, Blossom. Yes, my name is Blossom, and of course, you're welcome to Voters Forum. It's exciting to be here today. Barrister, I wanted to ask you, how is it possible? Well, I know it's definitely possible, but how come we have 5 senior advocates and you alone? And
No.
Is there an issue with that?
No, there's no issue. It's the other side. You see, he's a big man who went and rent all the lawyers that can. He think he can intimidate.
So, okay, amazing.
But we overcame that day. And God,
that's
just
amazing.
As I said,
that's amazing. God against 5.
It works like that. If you remember the presidential elections and all these popular cases, you see retinue of senior advocates, but to some extent, one will have more than the other. But it doesn't matter that way. So that's just it.
Anyways, you're welcome to Voters Forum, and yes, you can join us live because we're streaming on all our social media platforms at Galaxy Television, and of course, you can also download our Galaxy app from Google Store and Apple Store. Just download that so you watch all of our live programs directly. And you can join the program by sending a text message. The number below your screen TV. If you have a question, our guest is definitely here for you to actually ask questions, and we're here to also give you answers to your questions. So you're welcome again, and I hope you enjoy the program.
Yes, and enjoying the program is going to be a maximum enjoyment if you want it that way, because we equally have a Zoom guest for you. He's equally somebody who is a grassroots man, and of course somebody who knows his onions very well. I won't unveil them now until we'll come back from this mini feature. But what are we talking about today? It's about the palliatives that's running up and down. And to me, definitely is something that you want to listen to have your own contribution. So tell your neighbors, Voters Forum is on. And of course, we are ready to crack out all those nitty issues. The mini feature after which we'll talk.
Rise in the price of key food commodities is most caused by insecurity, high cost of transportation of products due to the rise in pump price of petroleum after the removal of subsidy, climate change, and the instability of the exchange rate of naira. The overdependence on import goods over local product is part of the factors that caused the current upsurge in the prices of food items in the country.
Way to go. To every average citizen, what comes first is food before any other thing. So if access to food is challenged, then becomes a hungry man that will eventually become an angry man. So food is the first basic need of man. So it's important that governments make themselves ready to make food available to the citizens. One of the cardinal responsibilities of the government is to see to the welfare of artisans. And to us, food is paramount and must be placed as a priority.
Nigerians are hungry. That is the paramount, the essential thing now. You know, all our efforts, all are going out and coming in every day. What we're looking for mostly is the daily bread. As it is now, because of the high cost of essential commodities, especially the food items. Before now, Gary was being classified as poor man food, but as of today, Gary is big man food. In fact, poor man doesn't have any food again.
Though people suggested that in the absence of oil subsidy, government should introduce subsidy prices of food and beverages to ease the burden of the people. It is also suggested that government should revisit the issue of border and allow free inflow of food items into the country.
Subsidizing food. So subsidy must be along the value chain, not just one area. Value chain starting from the farm. Government will be ready to provide fertilizers either for free or at a very subsidized rate. Do more of farm training for farmers. Make sure that all the inputs that they need to make farm work provided, not just in crop farming alone, but also in animal farming and fish farming. Beyond that, those that are also along that value chain should be empowered.
The government needs to subsidize food items. And most importantly, the government should open our borders. That borders, in fact, there should be an open policy for importers of items. Because if we talk of subsidizing the food item, the one we have in Nigeria now is not enough. That's the fact, because before now, the farmers have abandoned their trade because of fear of life.
Nigeria's borders were closed by former President Muhammadu Buhari in order to grow local production, especially food items. One of the major problems facing agriculture in Nigeria is the lack of adequate infrastructure, especially those in rural areas often have limited access to basic amenities such as water, electricity, and transportation. People are afraid of going to the farm these days because of fear of kidnappers. Herders that have been operating freely across the country without any challenge from security operatives.
Farming is not lucrative enough in our country. Why is it not lucrative enough? Because we are still doing a lot of manual farming. The world has moved beyond that. Government needs to begin to adopt more of technology by providing to farmers equipment that they need, modern day equipment that they need to farm, that will make them have more yield when it comes to farming. Also too is the fact that government too needs to begin to look at how to train and educate farmers and SMEs on how to add value to farm products.
What the government should do at this point is to encourage our Nigerian youths, even the old men among us, to be encouraged. Less farming. You know, let them create a enable environment whereby farming will be trade that will be people will be attractive to go into. As I speak to you, I'm a farmer. Right? Nigeria is a blessed country. Put something on the ground, cover it. The next 2 days it germinates.
Marketers of food items in major markets complained of constant increase of prices every other time they go to purchase goods for sale. They called on government to open the borders and reduce custom duty fee on food items. If government should introduce subsidy to food prices, it should, as a matter of fact, give necessary support to real farm in the country and provide funds for farmers to transform from small farming to merchant.
Government to help us. Our survey. Our children are surveying. I think you understand. Let them take everything come down. We are surveying. The survey is too much for Nigeria. Because of that, we are going to other places. Our government are travel out. They see what is happening there. Can't them to come this Nigeria. What is actually happening abroad, America and everywhere? Let them bring it to Nigeria now.
What you go to buy more? Koshe let us 150 langa pali and see. Pali kote 70,000, 6,000. Bebe, koka 75,000 in pali. Pala kegu to buy to one je. You tell Shawako 40,000 in pali. Think we go 7,000 langa palo shokegu. Nisi 40,000.
Then ẹja wá ń ṣe ẹja ẹ ti wọ́n kọjá ẹja tá a rà ní 1,000 plus tẹ́lẹ̀ ń ṣe ó ti di 2,000 plus so bá a fẹ́ yọ kan ó ti ń bá bíi 100,000 dé bá a fẹ́ yọ kan ṣoṣo even àwọn tó ń ra gan agídí náà fi ń rà débi pé ẹlòmíì tó yẹ kó ra méjì ẹyọ kan ṣoṣo ló máa rà àwa tá a ra bíi báwọn mẹ́ta tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹyọ kan rà ń sìn débi pé kíní yẹn gan ara wọn ò bá mọ́ ọ̀pọ̀pọ̀ ló ti fi iṣẹ́ yẹn sílẹ̀ so débi.
If government should introduce subsidy to food prices, it should, as a matter of fact, give necessary support to real farmers in the country and provide funds for farmers to transform from small farming to mechanized farming.
Yes, if I have my way, there is no need to discuss it. I had a vehicle, I won't mention the brand, but they call it end of discussion. To me, what the mini future itself has now given us an end of this discussion, which is a lot of food for thought. And I hope government, even if it's the voice of the people, the comments and the issues raised by the people in this mini future is enough for government to take steps, proactive steps at that. But be that as it may, I won't want to see as if I'm just landed it, and that's why we have guests both on Zoom and in the studio. And we begin by unveiling our studio guest, and it's no other person than Victor Anya. He is a political analyst, public affairs analyst, who is very vast in this area. And whenever he comes up, I am always on my toes. Because of what? He equally puts me on my toes. And not even, is it toes? I'm not on my toes. I'm on the edge of his seat. And that's why I'm sitting like this. He is sitting comfortably well, while I am on the edge of his seat. But be that as it may, Victor Anya, you're welcome to the program.
Many thanks for inviting me.
To God be the glory.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So, Victor, maybe we'll just start. You know, before the Spirit just told me what is it, to just bring it that time. What is palliative? And the answer you gave me was wonderful. What is palliative? Let's start from that.
Yes, according to the Encounter dictionary, it's a dictionary. You can buy the CD, you download it. It has two vital meaning for the word palliative. The number one meaning is that palliative is used to soothe somebody that is in anxiety when he's in a uncomfortable situation. The second meaning, which I perceive to be the most vital, is that you are treating the symptom of a problem or sickness without removing or eliminating the cause of that sickness.
I will go with that second one.
Yes, I'll go with the second one too.
It is the symptom that government is treating.
And not the cause.
And not the cause. And how do we go about it? Because news all around is not palatable. If anything, even if what we just showed in the mini future is just a microscope report of what is going on around the country. And to me, that informed the topic. Palliative. Is it a thought out or an afterthought policy?
Well, from our indications, it was a thought after. There was no preparedness. There was no thought about it before the subsidy was removed. And we are seeing the indications all around. And the day President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was being sworn in, he just said, subsidy is gone. If actually he prepared for it, at that very spot, he would have mentioned a team that will help him to actualize that's a removal of subsidy. He never did that. And after the promise they made after some period of time that they were going to supply compressed natural gas buses all over the country, we have not seen any. It's almost 1 year now.
No, we have seen, we have just split it as here and there, maybe 5 in Lagos.
Well, I for one have not seen.
I've seen, but that is nothing.
And that is it. Then they also promised that they were going to set up CNG conversion centers.
Yes.
Because I actually wrote a story on it, which I titled, "Is Subsidy a Bad Economy Policy?" When we finish, you can Google it. Is subsidy a bad economy policy? Where I enumerated all these things because they said that they were going to build center where Nigerians could take their cars to be converted to CNG vehicles. And they haven't looked at it. It will cost an average Nigeria about $500,000 to convert their vehicles to CNG driven system. Okay. Somebody who has Korokbe or has Kabu that is driving, how is he going to raise $500,000 to convert from the current engine that is driven by fuel to CNG? I answered those questions there. And again, how many of the centers we have? I raised that question too. I also raised a question that currently the price of gas is much higher than that of petrol. So if 200 million people will migrate from petrol, which is 650 now, to CNG, don't you think the price will skyrocket? These were the questions I raised in that article. And for a whole country to be talking about massive movement of people from one product to the other, not considering the current price, it baffles me so much. It makes me think that those in the ruling class, they don't really sit down to think about issues before they just come up with it.
Let me just come in here so that maybe, I don't know how, but I know that after I've raised this issue, what your response will elicit some element of humane and humanity in the ruling class. You mentioned the ruling class. All those who have political office in Nigeria, they don't queue for fuel.
They don't.
They don't go to the market to buy.
They don't.
They don't go to the tailor to buy clothes. to the tailor to sew clothes, as it were.
Yeah.
And they don't go to the market to buy cloth material.
Yeah, right.
All these things are ready-made or contracted out at even a humongous amount.
Yes.
You see cap they put on, that is not ordinary cap. I'm wearing a designer cap, no doubt, but this one is fake compared to theirs. If I tell you, no, you know me now. This one is fake, now fake I put for head now. You see their own as it be. You know, see, this one now, if I mention the price, you just look and go sit down. But that one, the amount they will use is sewing the cap alone. Is enough
because they
to
have
buy a car.
Yes.
They have access to free money.
Yes.
So
they don't labor for their money.
You see now, you know I told you that when I start talking now. So because they have access to free money, they don't know what we are suffering to struggle. You need to know what where I live. Now that the road is good. But you can imagine about this time last year, from redemption camp that I stay, coming to this point, I spent 3-4 hours.
Yes.
And that's
I experienced it too.
You experience it.
Yes.
So the struggle I go through before I can get 10,000 naira. You can imagine, and I don't have escorts. So and sometimes, most of the time, if we're inside that traffic, you see them, they call it one way in local palace. They will take the one way with their escort. In Jiffy, they get to where they are going to, leaving us, we, the ordinary people, in the traffic.
They want you to obey the law.
So they don't suffer. How can we make it that they will understand what we are going through? You saw people in the menu feature. They are busy crying. They are busy suffering. What can these people do? Because this palliative is not taking anybody anywhere, apart from the fact that that's your second definition, is again it. It's not solving the problem. It's just treating
the surface,
small screen.
the symptoms.
So how can we go? Is there a way we can say, okay, government official, you too, we must stop it. You are no more buying. The state is no more sponsoring you because they don't buy fuel. They have a fuel dump there that if care is not taken, it is supplied free.
Yes.
They don't know anything. Even if the supplies at the prevailing rate,
no, they get free. They get free fuel. They get free fuel. I think the greatest problem is that as Nigerians, we are not united. If you cast your mind back to 2012, you can see the massive protest we had across the country when Jonathan attempted to remove fuel subsidy. And his own, he even planned it, no matter what anybody will say. He planned it because at that time, he introduced what he calls subsidy reinvestment project or program, where he appointed Dr. Kolade to be the chairman at that time to manage the process. But because of the massive protest, especially in this Lagos area, he have to reverse the price to the old price. That was why he couldn't invent it. So that is it. So, but today now, because of ethnicity, some people that are known to, because every people have their own rules. There are people who are clergymen, general overseer of churches that have massive followers. If they say, today let us protest against something, people will follow them. I don't have such a massive followership. Today they have become a complacent, they have kept quiet because they think their brother is now president. We have to say the way it is, because today nobody is talking, even condemning all these things. The things there that were bad in other PDP, they have suddenly become good. That is why we are not seeing anybody complaining again. Even on television, radio, they say he's doing well. How can somebody say that a policy that has subjected Nigeria to auto hardship to be in boosted? According to the Manufacturer Association of Nigeria, 767 companies have shut down under 1 year, not up to a year. So if 767 companies have shut down under 1 year, what will happen the second year, the third year, the fifth year, the fourth year? These are the issues. So normally it is the system, the citizen of a country that when things are going wrong, they engage in massive protest. Protest is the greatest tool of shaking maladministration all over the world.
But you know, for protests, if anyone should come out now and say you won't have protests, it's almost as good as saying you have a lot of security armed with tear gas and of course coming out, and of course they say they're coming to protect the citizens. But if I look at it from an angle, it's as though they are coming to limit what they can do or protest, and we all know most of the times it's coming as a peaceful protest, and we have other people that comes to throw the protest into a harmful one. Do you actually think, even if the people decide to come out today with the church and everybody, all the traditional rulers coming out and say, okay, let's protest and make something happen so that our leaders can listen, do you actually think we can actually have a protest? Even if it's
were people not protesting when PDP was there? I just gave an example of January when Jonathan removed subsidy. Did the people protest? Did you see clergymen carry placard all over the country protesting? How come that the narrative has changed now? It's because of ethnicity and politics.
Let me come in here. I'm a veteran of protests. I've been involved in organizing and arranging protests in Nigeria. But you can be sure that not all protests succeeds. And protests don't just come because people mobilize. Protests sometimes are spontaneous, like the NSAS protest, like the Save Nigeria protest. But be that as it may, I just want to come in here to say that, talking about protest, it's something that we call it push. When push comes to shove, protest will come, and there's nobody that can hold it, not even security officers. Just as we are going that time, when we were organizing our various protests, the ones that I mentioned, we had security people around, but they were not able to contain it. And that's why we are having this discussion, that the government should not allow this thing to get out of hand. And that's why we brought this topic. Is it thought out or is it an afterthought? To me, government can eat the humble pie. Just as you said some few seconds ago, sit down and look at this thing very well. Because all over the land, hunger is there. Everyone is talking and crying and shouting. And I don't think it will be too much if government reverses itself, then now look at it very well, and now say, yes, in the next 12 months, we are going to do this, we are going to do that, but meanwhile, we are going to relax the situation. And of course, there must be issues of enforcement, because it's not relaxing alone. Because if we want prices to come down in Nigeria, forget it. I'm old enough to know that prices, whenever it goes up, never comes down again. But for this one, government must be on its toes to ensuring that the right things are done. If not, then it will go overboard. But be that as it may, the next question now, my brother, is that we have now seen that people are suffering. I have crisscrossed this country, and I know that this time of the day, to 1 o'clock, if you go to major bus stops and points, is it the Oba Square in Benin? Is it the Ring Road and the Ring Road in Benin too? Is it the Molete Junction in Ibadan? Not to talk of the Beggar Junction in Abu. You see a horde of youths who are dressed, and I think this should be the focus of government. And in between, the interviewers talked about mechanized farming. What we still have is the hoe and cutlass farming system. To me, if we can bring up a comprehensive mechanized farming policy, we have a Minister of Agriculture, and I've not seen anything different from what I'm not even seeing the man at work, or maybe it's a woman that is at work. I've not seen that. And I expect that by now, everyone will be busy. In fact, people like us, instead of sitting down here and talking, we'll be in the farm with my sister here. Either she too will put on some trouser and some t-shirt and begin to farm. Either by now, she's been taught how to drive the tractor. Because the last time I went to America, in the Ohio State, I want to believe it's in Ohio State. We are going to Cincinnati, it's another border town. I saw some young girls, they were the ones operating the farm. Not as young as, not as So, what stopped government from doing this? What stopped government?
Before we get to that point, you said that prices don't come down in Nigeria.
Yes.
That is economic-driven prices. What we have is artificial increase in prices because of government policy and pronouncement. The president said that he will not allow food to be imported so that we can farm. The question we are asking is that, can anybody go to farm? Because of insecurity.
That is one.
So, it's not the economic that is driving this one. It is the pronouncement of the president. It's quite different. So, I was thinking that he's supposed to tackle insecurity. At the time that people cannot go to farm, he should open the borders. It is not his money we are using now. If everybody in Nigeria, who will he preside over as president? So what we are saying now, what we are saying now, that those who are advising the president should prevail on him to reverse that pronouncement that they should not be importing food. Food should be imported now.
We would like to go on a short break. We would like to actually go on a short break right now so we can just relax and see if our Zoom guest is ready. And of course, ask some more questions because this topic is a whole lot. So let's go on a short break and we'll be right back into the program. Don't go nowhere, stay with us.
The rise in the price of key food commodities is mostly caused by insecurity, high cost of transportation of products due to the rise in pump price of petroleum after the removal of subsidy, climate change and the instability exchange rate of Naira. The overdependence on import goods over local product is part of the factors that caused the current upsurge in the prices of food items in the country.
Way to go. To every average citizen, what comes first is food before any other thing. So if access to food is challenged, then becomes a hungry man that will eventually become an angry. So food is the first basic need of man. So it's important that government makes themselves ready to make food available to the citizens. One of the cardinal responsibilities of the government is to see to the welfare of our citizens. And to us, food is paramount and must be placed as a priority.
Nigerians are hungry. That is the paramount, the essential thing now. All our efforts, all are going out and coming in every day. What we are looking for mostly is the daily bread. As it is now, because of the high cost of essential commodities, especially the food items. Before now, Gari was being classified as poor man food, but as of today, Gari is big man food. In fact, poor man doesn't have any food again.
Though people suggested that in the absence of oil subsidy, government should introduce subsidy to prices of food and beverages to ease the burden of the people. It is also suggested that government should visit the issue of border culture and allow free inflow of food items into the country.
Subsidizing food. So subsidy must be along value chain, not just one area. Value chain starting from the farm. Government will be ready to provide fertilizers either for free or at a very subsidized rate, do more of farm training for farmers, make sure that other inputs that they need to make farm work is provided, not just in crop farming alone, but also in animal farming and fish farming. Beyond that, those that are also along that value chain should be empowered.
Government needs to subsidize food items. And most importantly, the government should open our borders. That borders, in fact, there should be an open policy for importers of food items. Because if we talk of subsidizing the food item, the one we have in Nigeria now is not enough. That's the fact, because before now, the farmers have abandoned their trade because of fear of their life.
Nigeria's borders were closed by former President Muhammadu Buhari in order to grow local production, especially food items. One of the major problems facing agriculture in Nigeria is the lack of adequate infrastructure. Farmers, especially those in rural areas, often have limited access to basic amenities such as water, electricity, and transportation. People are afraid of going to the farm these days because of the fear of kidnappers. Herders that have been operating freely across the country without any form of challenge from security operatives.
Farming is not lucrative enough in our country. And why is it not lucrative enough? Because we are still doing a lot of manual farming. The world has moved beyond that. Government needs to begin to adopt more of technology in farming by providing to farmers equipment that they need, modern equipment that they need to farm, that will make them have more yield when it comes to farming. Also too is the fact that government too needs to begin to look at how to train and educate farmers and SMEs on how to add value to farm products.
What the government should do at this point is to encourage our Nigeria youths, even the old men among us, to be encouraged. Let's farming, let's create an environment whereby farming will be based trade that will be people will be attractive to go into. As I speak to you, I'm a farmer, right? Nigeria is a blessed country. Put something on the ground, cover it. The next 2 days you see it germinate.
Marketers of food items in major markets complained of constant increase of price every other time they go to purchase goods for sale. They called on government to open the borders and reduce custom duty fee on food items. If government should introduce subsidy to food prices, it should, as a matter of fact, give necessary support to real farmers in the country and provide funds for farmers to transform from small farming to merchant.
Government to help us. We are suffering. Our children are.
Welcome back. We've been doing some talk and of course some water, taking some water here. But be that as it may, we welcome back. Just as you said, we hope we've wet, your appetite has been put on the wet side ever since our guest has been talking. The great analysis he has brought down. But be that as it may, our Zoom guest is on. Comrade Chike Chude, can you hear me?
Hear you loud and clear.
Yes. You're welcome to the show. This is Voters Forum.
Thank you for joining.
It's a pleasure.
My co-host is greeting you. So, Chike, we've been talking, I don't know if you followed us. Our guest again in the studio is Victor Ayan. Can you just say hello to him too? Victor Ayan.
Yeah, I can. I was following. I was listening. Okay, very interesting discussion.
Okay, since you are following, it's so interesting. So, this palliative thing, we say, is it a thought out or is just an afterthought? Your own contribution, your own input into it?
Well, I don't know whether people are still talking about palliative in the country. If they are, I will be surprised about it, because I think that palliative has gone the way of the wind. It has disappeared. Nobody's talking about it anymore. The government is not talking about it, except that we know that money has been budgeted all this way for palliatives, and people have not seen it. It's like a little drops of water in the ocean. We have not been able to see where it has made significant impact in the lives of Nigerians. You know, and it's at that level that you begin to ask yourself whether this palliative you are talking about is not a scam. If it is not a scam, then obviously it was not projected to make significant impact in the lives of Nigerians. Because, again, I think one small experiment we can even do to find out how far, you know, and how good or how well this palliative project went, is to ask yourself one question, and those in the studio with you too, you know, including your co-anchor. How many of you have seen people who have enjoyed palliative? And what is the level or degree of palliative that they have been given that made any meaningful impact in their lives? I don't want to preempt you, but I want to believe that that question, the answer to that question is in the negative. It is zero.
Yes.
You know, even if in most cases it's difficult to find anybody that has received palliative, and if such a person has received palliative, you know, it is also impossible to say that that palliative has made any meaningful impact in the life of such a person. And if you go around 100 Nigerians, perhaps about 95% will tell you that they don't know anything, they've not heard about anybody receiving palliative, you know. And so if it's just about 5% out of Nigerians, you know, that have received or had access to palliative, then it will tell you that 5 over 100 is a monumental failure. And so, and I think that this is the reality that we are facing in this country. Palliative, you know, has gone the way of the other issues in the government. I mean, that have always manifest in the negative in the country. And so, it's not, of course, I think I agree with you that it is an afterthought. It is ill thought of in the first place, even though it's an afterthought, and they went into ill, you know, thought out. Because they had not, all they wanted to do was just to listen to the recommendations of the IMF and then the World Bank, make the lives of Nigerians impossible or difficult, remove fuel subsidy, increase the price of electricity, you know, generated in the country, and that's what you're saying.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to ask the question based on this palliative. Recently, during the week, we had a local government chairman who was to a tree because they found out that the palliative that was supposed to be shared among the community, he sold them off, of course, at a probably a higher price or a cheaper rate, I don't know. But he was tied to a tree and was actually flogged just on his on the way. What's your reaction to this? Are you thinking the people are taking those into their hands, or do you think, because a lot of people believe that's the way to go, if you start that, maybe a lot of people will sit up? What's
Did
your
you see
reaction?
did you see the?
I don't know if you saw the video, but it's trending.
No, but no. I'm just hearing this, and you know, with some level of enjoyment. Of course, we don't want people to take laws into their hands, but we want people to hold their leaders accountable, because all of the rubbish that has been going on in the country for a very long time is as a result of the fact that Nigerians have lacked the ability to take their leadership into, you know, to ensure that their political leaders don't of their tenure in office. So I think it's music to the ears that people got fed up with what is going on, and that's the only way we can change things at all levels of governance, you know, government, from the presidency, the governorships, you know, the local government level, and the national state house of assembly level, and at the federal legislative level. We need to begin tell these people that we matter and that we're important, and they were fed up with the rubbish that has been going on in this country, and we can no longer tolerate it. So I think it's music to my ears, really. The people can take this upon themselves. And again, it's what I've always said, that Nigerians will never do anything until they get to that level where there's no difference between living and dying. You know, where we now have to make a choice between either dying outrightly or having a chance to live by taking action. to redress some of the problems that they are facing. So these are the issues. So I think it's good.
Comrade, I know it will be good to you. I know I was busy laughing because I know that's news that you want. I'm sure you hear. That's why I know it is. I know. And of course, that's it, how it should be. Our guests in the studio will wait, but so that I just take advantage of the signal before it's already. I'm sure you are somewhere in Abuja, and you told me that you are moving. That's why we can't have you.
Yes, I am.
Just your picture. Yes. Be that as it may, I just want this. What will be your advice to government in this regard now?
Yeah.
Having seen that their program is not well thought out, what will be your advice to revamping it, to ensuring that we don't have a palliative, we have a real solution to the symptoms that we have, to the problem we have?
Yeah, I'm listening to. Yeah, I was listening to the studio when you were doing your monologue, and
yes,
it's very clear. One would also know the direction. It's clearly the direction of your thoughts. Obviously, you are also not happy about what Nigerians are going through. People are suffering.
Obviously.
And I've also listened to your analysts in the studio, also giving the government advice. Let us give advice even to the deaf, because that is what we are doing. We are just giving advice to the deaf. But let it be said. Let it not be said that we did not try to fulfill righteousness. And so because you are talking to people who don't care. These are people who are more interested in what the international organizations are saying. They are more beholden to them. They are more loyal to them, because one way or the other they think that they need the input and the approval of the international organizations and international and foreign countries to keep them in power. That's the way I'm beginning to look at a lot of things. And so between the people, our people suffering, and listening to and taking or adhering to the advice of the international multilateral financial institutions such as the World Bank and then the IMF, I think that the government will listen more to the foreign bodies rather than to their citizens. And I think that is what is happening. But be that me, it is important to advise the government. Look at the recent increase in electricity. They say 200 to 300%. In which country of the world, in which sane country of the world, even in Europe that we're always talking about, in America, that a government will will increase the price of a public asset that has that will have negative financial implications for the people by more than 20% or 25%. It's not done in any place. But in Nigeria, we can do it, easily, 100%, 200%, 300%. Because the leadership is not committed, the leader is not loyal to the Nigerian nation. That is the way I look at it. So I would advise the government to go back on some of these policies, just like you had indicated in your monologue. The issue of pricing of electricity. They keep on punishing every day for crimes that we have not committed, and that is what we are seeing. The issue of the pump price of fuel too. How are they going to address that issue? Also to make sure that there's drastic reduction in the pump price of fuel. And once you do this, you tackle these two things, especially the price of fuel, diesel and fuel. You will see that the inflation that has hit the roof in this country will automatically begin to go down radically. Yes. And then the prices and transportation will go down drastically. And when these prices go down, the prices of food, which is essential and one of the most fundamental needs of the human person, would also go down drastically. This is what government is supposed to do. But government, like I said, will prefer to listen to outsiders and to listen to insiders, to their own people.
They will listen
that
to
is
us.
what they have
they
shown. That they approve the international body or international bodies are more important than the disapproval of citizens. And it is sad and unfortunate.
Comrade, don't worry.
Government
will listen to us. You know that we know how to do it when it's time. Don't worry. We'll go back to the trenches if government refuses to listen to us. This is not a threat. This is not a threat. Because the government is there for the people. And that's what the guest in the studio said the other time. If all of us die, who is the government going to roll over? Who are they going to move on against?
Thank you.
So
that is it.
They must listen to us. Don't worry, that's why this program is on for, and that's what we are going to do. Actually, we want to thank you because time is against us. You can be sure that you are on our reserve list. You can be sure that next week, even if you are in the mood, we'll talk to you. We'll bring you, even if you are in the mood.
It's been a pleasure. Thank
you. To God be the glory. Please drive safe, and I wish you a safe journey. When you come back to Lagos, we'll see. Thank you so much. My brother, I'm sure you heard what?
I didn't hear it. My Bluetooth was not working.
Hey, you didn't hear him. You would have told me now.
No, I make signal.
Oh, no. I'm the one you will have spoken to. You have just...
Well, anyways, he said a whole lot.
But I heard when they tune on the...
So that at least he's on two sides with you. Mine is that I want us to enjoy live direct.
Yes.
The issue of the beating of the chairman.
Yes, I want to get your opinion.
Tied to the stick.
That is how it's supposed to be.
When they refuse to listen.
Yes, because there was a court, I've forgotten the name of that country. They were putting politicians inside dustbin and security operatives were there helping the citizens because security, so they are part of the citizen. They are not part of government. And that's why such streets are growing. But here, when you come out to protest, they use light bullets. Even though we have advocated that they should be using rubber bullets or spray hot water. That is how it is done. So what I will advise the president is a simple something. Let him receive this decision, this hardline decision that food should be imported at this critical time that people are hungry. A bag of rice now is 85,000. 2015, before they came in, it was 7,000. How many people will be able to buy?
The woman selling one fish, I don't know the name, for 7,000 naira.
Look at that.
It's 40,000 naira. And that's a fish for the commoners.
Yes.
Yesterday, I passed by the market, for your information. I passed by the market. There's a market called the Pudo Market in Ikeja here.
Okay.
I passed by it. I saw some things that are maybe ought to have been thrown away.
Pepper.
They call it, no, not pepper now, there is the pepper side. Okay. I saw the pepper, but that one was, till now, it's still nauseating to me. Meat, maybe some part of the meat that ought to be thrown away, they now put them together and they are selling it to people. Yeah. So that when the children, small children, when they will use that one to hook eba or amala inside,
that should happen in a country like Nigeria being called the giant of Africa. So what my advice is that you should receive that decision. Let the borders open, let food come in. Then it should tackle insecurity. Now I would have expected him to have submitted a bill, to talk about state police. If there is state police, then insecurity will be able to be overcome. Yes. Once there's peace and security, then farmers can go to farm. Prices of goods will come down.
President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, this program is for you, and I want people to take it down to him through the various social media, to his media men. Bola, what's his name now? Nonuga, Bayo Nonuga, Alake, and all of them. Let them see this thing and take it to their principal. Nigerians are really suffering, and we have preferred solution on how to get this country back. You are a man of the people. You are a grassroots man, and I know you very well, Tinubu. You don't want people to suffer, and you should not be. Your government should not make people to suffer. We must laugh, no matter what it takes. People must laugh. They must enjoy the dividends of democracy.
It's going to be a miracle, Paris, like you said. You said you are old enough to actually say that no price of goods goes up in Nigeria and never comes down.
Yes.
So I'm waiting for that miracle.
It can happen.
No, this one will come down. This one is self-inflicted.
Okay.
I mentioned it.
Okay,
it's not driven by economics.
I know Tinubu very well. I know him. I know him. We were here in Lagos when things were tough in Lagos, and he made it difficult.
We have one
despite the fact that he had no federal allocation, that Obasanjo seized this money. So he can do it.
Let's do it again. Okay,
and I want you, Tinubu, this is a challenge to you, and I want this thing to get to him. It's possible, it's doable. You are a man of the people.
Okay.
People are hungry, they are crying. And what they want is food and a little bit of the touch of government.
Okay, Barrister, thank you so much. I can see the pain of the people is written all over your face. Thank you so much, Victor, for being on the program. It's amazing.
Thank you so much
I love
for the
all your
opportunity.
responses, especially Comrade that joined via Zoom. Thank you very much. And thank you, viewers, for joining. A lot of people are so feeling it that they could not even text. But obviously, during the course of other programs, we'll have more. My name is Rose Blossom. Have a beautiful week. Bye for now.
Beautiful week, I wish you. Don't worry what is happening. Very, very soon. You see, I'm a pastor, and in the book of the Second Kings, there was famine like this or something close to this in Samaria, but something like that, something just happened. God just created a situation and everything changed. And I pray it will be so in Nigeria.
Amen.
Don't lose hope. Till next week when we'll be meeting, just don't lose hope.